Okay, welcome everybody to the Ortelius general meeting on September 7th. I hope everybody had a nice little break in August. Got some time to recharge. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And we'll get going here. I'm actually gonna move the governance board to later. Tracy isn't quite in yet, so she has the details on that. So on the, just to give everybody an update on the service catalog, the architecture meeting, we kept that going throughout all of August, and as well as the coding side. So we're going to try to get like in the next 2 weeks, I'd say less than 2 weeks, we want to be able to have a deliverable. And the reason for this is we want to get everything lined up for what is it, DevOps World and KubeCon. So we want to be able to have announcements and things like that out there so people can take a look at what we've done on the service catalog side. Yes, DevOps World. All these trade shows blend together for me, so so that's kind of where we're at on that front. The group in Australia has been working on a GitOps solution with Ortelius and Argo. And that's coming along really well. Brad McCoy and Amit have been doing a lot of work around our Azure cluster. And I think, Sergio, you've popped in and out a couple times there to help them out. But I think they're getting a pretty good understanding of how Ortelius is going to be able to fit into the GitOps world. Also on that, we did actually have event-based conversations coming up on how Ortelius needs to deal with events and not only consume them, but also being able to produce them. So that's going to be, if you haven't taken a look at Keptn, take a look at that, because that's one of the new members from down there, Adam Gardner, is from Dynatrace and works on the Keptn project. So, and also I'm on the event SIG for the CDF, and there's a few folks from Keptn as well, along with other people that are working around events around the CI/CD pipeline process. So that's one of the things that we want to, so kind of the order so people can kind of keep in the back of their mind where we are headed. We're going to get the service catalog out here in the next couple of weeks. And it looks like the GitOps piece, that's going to be lining up just to start up after that. And then either in parallel with the GitOps, we may do the event-based pieces, or we may do it afterwards. I'm hoping that we could do it in parallel. I know Utkarsh has been looking at, been involved in that as well, on the event-based pieces, trying to get up to speed. So if anybody's interested in those things, just let me know, and I'll make sure you know when the meetings are and stuff. Typically, the architecture meeting is on Thursdays. The Thursdays morning, my time, is when we are going to be talking about the service catalog, and we'll have some things around event-based. But at the same time, that same day on Thursday, in the afternoon, my time, which is Australian morning, we'll do the GitOps along with some additional overlap on the events. So just to give you an update, that's what's kind of happening, where things are going on that front. So I know we were trying to get some podcasts started. And Siddharth, can you just give us an idea of where we are and what we need to do to get that ball rolling again?
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of something. I'll be a bit quick. The forms have been submitted. The Anyone can submit their talks. That is one. We've already rolled out their application form to people need to submit it. It's just that now the next step is we need to reach out to the people who have already submitted about having their talks. We didn't did it that because it was August and people, as per you and Tracy, people wanted to have a break. So what I'll do is all those people who have submitted their nominations, I'll reach out to them and drop an email.
Okay, perfect. So the next step is just to start actually producing and recording things.
Absolutely.
All righty.
Hey, Siddharth. We met last week with Arvin. We do like a really informal video. I'm editing right now, but the title was like "Why Open Source?" and my guest was Arvin, like a our newest member. Like why, and it was an interesting conversation. Like why someone will pick open source, and well, on the perspective of Arvin, that is on college and it's like pretty much new on this. So I'm going to edit. I'm going to share it to you. For his, maybe we can put it on a Sprout bus.
All right.
Yeah. Perfect. Great job picking that up and getting started on that. Those are the fun ones when you get a good conversation going, around open source. And it doesn't have to. None of these podcasts have to be anything super technical. Whatever you feel comfortable talking about, that's we're welcome. And Sergio, when you get it produced on your side, let me know and I'll make sure you can upload it to Buzzsprout.
Okay, yeah, I have all the rights. I pretty much if you need to directly do, I don't know, working on YouTube and Buzzsprout, I can. Usually I ask because I just want to coordinate it, but I can. I already checked that I have the privilege.
Okay, perfect. And then we'll have to social media some of these.
Yeah, it was super fun because Arvin wanted like met each other's, and I say like, okay, I'm going to record this and put it on, on the podcast. Okay.
Sometimes that's the best. That's when it's not formal. You get some of the best content. So on the outreach side, now that we are, back in the swing of things, I believe Tracy is going to send out reminders about the meetings to the email list, to the email group. So we're going to try to get everybody, get our meetings built back up on that front. So put up with the emails, reach out to people that, that we've worked with that have just kind of taken a break and see if we can get them back on the meetings and stuff and back involved. So, we're trying to just restart after a break. It's always challenging. Perfect. Some other things on the outreach, there, and this, I don't know if this really fits into like the architecture, but we have through Microsoft Azure, our Azure partnership, we can do a marketplace. So that's we kind of need to make a decision if we want to go and put some effort into these marketplace places. So a couple I can think of on the marketplace side, Azure has one. There's Bitnami. There's the operators.
And those operators, Steve, those are open source marketplaces. You can register it.
Yep. Operators, and then I think
Operator Hubs.
Oh, Operator Hub.
That's right. Yes, remember we met the woman who started it.
Yep. And then there's one from Helm. Is it Helm Hub or is it just there's a Helm one?
I think it's just Helm.
Is it just like Helm.io? I think that's what it is. But anyways, there's I'm sure we can track down a few more. And then there's the Amazon one, an AWS one, but that one's a little funky because they want like
I don't think they do open source.
Okay, we'll take that one off.
Yeah.
So we need to decide if we want to go ahead and start kind of pursuing these. And
well, I definitely think like things like Bitnami, once we get the new version, if we want to put a Helm installer up there, it would make sense.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the everything but the operator one would be the same Helm charts that we just need to push over with some additional, lack of a better word, collateral for that platform. So, Bitnami will have that you can pull down Helm charts and things like that from Bitnami. Same with the Helm. And the Azure one, last time I looked at it, was based on Helm charts, basically. The operator.hub.io, that's a slightly different format. Nothing overly complicated, but we just do have to create a different forms and things like that to go into operator.io. And I think we target, like you said, Tracy, the Bitnami, and then
Sergio just posted Artifact Hub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they changed Hub Helm IO to Artifact Hub IO.
Okay.
So these are things that I don't know if it's the outreach or I think it's more of the infrastructure group that should be pursuing those installer locations.
Yeah. So it's just, like I said, there's going to be some work on the marketing side with making sure we have all the content up there, plus the technical side of having the forums. Does it make sense to go after these?
Not yet. It doesn't to me yet. We have so much to do in terms of the service catalog and testing it and getting it documented that I don't think that's just something we should do right now. We might think about it in the future, but I don't think we should be focused on it now.
Maybe like a winter time frame.
Yeah, but I'll have to look into them, but we just have these other things that we have to. I don't want to start another project just yet.
Okay.
So yeah, in terms of a community, we are really needing help on testing the service catalog. Steve, where are you in terms of creating a test site for that version so we can start playing on it?
We're going to stand that up this week.
Okay.
We were planning to have it ready last week, but we ran into a technical thing.
Yeah.
That we had to stop and recode a bunch of stuff.
Because from what I have seen, the data, we need to do a good job of testing like that Swagger integration, the CVE integration, the licensing. There's some testing work that really needs to be done, and none of it's documented. So we need to get that testing environment stood up, and then I'll start, I'll get some shell documents out there so we can all start contributing to the documentation and get that done. So even from the outreach side, we need to call in all of our troops to see if we can get this thing tested pretty thoroughly.
Okay. And then last week, Sergio did a session on Argo and the Istio operators, and he is looking to get some feedback on that. So if you that people can still watch that on demand, right, on YouTube.
Yeah, and I put it on the same description of the form, the link to watch the session. And I'm kind of a little sad because I have zero response. So if at least a few one will help a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So fill out the form, watch the session. It's a really good session. I just haven't had a chance to get in and fill out the form. I saw that come across in Discord over the weekend. So it's a good session. And, if there's, one of the goals is to keep on building upon these kind of tutorial type of videos or sessions. So if there's things you're looking for that you're interested in, put it out onto the Discord channel, and also based on the forum data, we can figure out what the next steps are. Anything else you want to add to that, Sergio?
I think this is the first form. It's pretty open. It's like we are waiting, not a really complex fix. That is pretty much anything came up on your head. Like it was, I don't know, too broad. I want to try it. I don't want to listen. I want to try something more practical. Everything is welcome. So it's really open. You don't need to think much. There is any barrier for the form. So any feedback is the first one. Like any feedback at this point is useful. So that's don't hesitate to put some feedback on the form. Thank you.
And just so you know, Siddharth has got his head into training as well, specifically around maybe a computer-based like online class for Ortelius. We did create, I have about a 75 slide PowerPoint document. That's a good start. And he is going to look at potentially maybe some organizations out of India who might be good at just building out training material. We need to add some quizzes. We need to figure out what questions we should ask in order to certify somebody who's passed it, and we may need to expand on that training. So the outreach side of the team is really looking at that as well.
Perfect. All right, anything else?
I think we should talk about two things. We have a governance board coming up. It is all done. It should be posted out on the website. So if you go into guidelines, you'll see the bylaws at the end. I'll be sending out an email asking everybody to consider running for nominating themselves for the board, or think about somebody that you think should be on the board and reach out to them and see if you can nominate if they're willing to be nominated. I'm going to reach out to Brian Dawson with the Linux Foundation, for example. December 8th is a Wednesday. We will be having our next Visionaries Conference. And again, I'm going to look for some kind of potentially a guest speaker. And then I'm going to put together a couple topics and hope that some of you will take on doing those presentations. So what I'm thinking is for our beer and donuts that we do have a guest speaker for that. We will then hand out any recognition badges for the prior 6 months. And we probably should be doing that more quickly, but I don't have anybody that's really focused on doing that right now, and it takes a little bit of time to do it. But we'll do that. We'll get the badges out on the 8th. So just keep that in the back of your mind that we will be doing, pulling that together. And if you've never presented before, I highly recommend you consider doing so.
And we're thinking about 3 to 4 sessions.
Yeah, I don't think, probably 4. We did 5 last time, so we'll do have a guest speaker join our beer and donuts, and we'll have then 4 sessions at most.
Got it. And is there anything people need to do for the governance board? Is there like a form or anything you need to fill out?
I'm gonna, yeah, I'll send an email out with a form that says here's how to nominate yourself or somebody else. We will need somebody else's email. So I thought about just putting it in a spreadsheet, but then I thought, no, I'll just keep it private. So I'll create a form and I'll send that form out. The nominations will begin on the 24th of September.
And
starting on the 24th. So the form will go out on the 24th. And the elections will be held and announced on the 8th of December. So you can put up there in your little bullet points for the
Tracy?
Yeah.
I remember that I read the document, but on my mind, I think it's not much clear. We have like a restriction about the roles. For say something, we need some base level of seniority, for say some way, for proposing people. Like years in some role.
You mean like they do at the Linux Foundation to say people who vote? Are you talking about the people who are voting for those roles?
The people who can join the board.
Anybody, yeah. So anybody can join the board. Absolutely anybody. You don't have to be a committer. You could be completely outside of. You don't even have to be part of the Google groups. So, for example, Siddharth introduced me to a woman who works in the OpenShift world, and she would be an excellent. And she's moving from IBM to Red Hat, which is kind of weird to me because it's the same company. But anyway, she would be an excellent person to be on our board. Somebody like a Brian Dawson or a Lynch Hope, both who are at the Linux Foundation, would be really, really good people on the board. So you don't have to be a contributor or a member to be on the board. But in order to vote, you do have to be. So the people who can vote are the people who are currently in the Google groups. So they're our community and they're the ones who vote. Now the Linux Foundation on the voting side does it based on pull requests, but that eliminates people that do some really hard work for us who don't do pull requests. So we will open up voting to anybody who's in the Google groups. So that will be restricted, but who can be on our board is open. In fact, we want to have, it would be great to have as broad a community as possible on the board, as well as some folks from these bigger companies. So think about who you might know, who you could recruit to be on the board, or run yourself. We'll have 6 spots, and 3 of them will be 1-year roles. I think that people from outside the community might be more open to starting with just a 1-year commitment instead of a 2-year, and that the rest of us will be probably the ones who are going to run for the 2-year.
Yeah, it feels weird to propose to yourself, but
that's how everybody does it. Yeah, no, everybody, you can nominate yourself and you're encouraged to do so, and you can nominate anyone. So it's completely open who can be on our board. And, there is some recruitment that's probably needed, and to bring some of these people from outside our existing community and bring them onto the board, because it's important to start building the community beyond ourselves. For example, our TOC board, we kind of formed that organically. There's, I think, 7 people on that board. They meet 3 times a year. I need to add them. And they're we have somebody from Red Hat, we have somebody from Netflix, we have somebody from Google. So it's that kind of a board that would be an interesting combination. If we could get 3 people like that to run on our board, and then the other 4 of us were from the community, that would be a pretty strong board.
And it's not a huge time commitment.
No, it's one meeting a quarter is what the minimum is. Yeah, so introduce us to more people like Siddharth did.
Alrighty, we have 2 minutes, and I have a meeting back to back this morning with this one. So, anything else?
All good.
Okay, and I'm going to make sure this was not on my calendar this morning. I'm going to make sure that the calendar is reactivated correctly. So if you get a calendar invite and you already had it on your calendar, I'm going to apologize now. But I'm going to send it out again because it didn't show up on my calendar.
I already have 2, so a third one is not going to be.
Okay, all right. How did you get 2 and I don't have 1? That's weird.
Yeah, I have 2 and
you did?
31 from the Tracy and another one from someone else.
Huh, okay. I don't know why I don't have 1, but we may have other people who don't have it either if I don't have it.
So I can invite you back.
Yeah, that's what I was like, how can I just, I'm going to try to invite us all back. All right, thank you all.
All right, have a good day. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.